Part two, mind to hand to tool. There are influential factors that have to do with the mind. They can be your mood, they can be your present situation in life, they can be what types of things you derive inspiration from. Inspiration is very important. Otherwise, you will just be going through the process just for sake, just for the sake of going through the process of trying to do something. You know, inspirational is one of the greatest driving forces, and it can work both ways. It can work from the mind to the hand to the tool, and it can also work from the tool to the hand to the mind. Sometimes you could be in a bit of a kind of a rut, but you just feel like doing something. You feel like making something. So you simply just begin to engage in the activity of doing something, and then all of a sudden your mind gets to that level and into that zone where it needs to be. The matter of inspiration is a really big one, which I think is often overlooked. Inspiration is one of the most powerful forces. Okay, because it's inspirational. You hear your favorite song. You observe just a great work of art that will stand the test of time. A Bernini sculpture or something. It doesn't necessarily, inspiration does not necessarily have to be something like from within your particular wheelhouse. You know, inspiration can come from a number of different things and in a number of different ways. Sometimes you can even inspire yourself. It doesn't have to be an external factor. So inspiration as well can work both ways. It can work from things that inspire you externally and from things that inspire you internally. Things that are already within you, things that are present. The other part of this, part two of this vlog, is imagination and creativity. I've heard a few people try to talk about this subject. Often they talk about creativity when it's brought up in a conversation, and more than often enough, I'm just kind of observing this, going like, oh my God, there's things that I could add to this, because I love to hear about this kind of stuff. Your imagination and creativity are two sides of the same coin. And all of those other factors that I mentioned in the part one to this, which have to do with the mind, they are all intricately connected and related to imagination and creativity. And for the types of people who are of the more imaginative and creative types, This is a very lesser talked about subject because it's difficult. And I've had to question myself throughout various times in my life, like, where does this come from? Where did I just get this kind of an idea from? Or, you know, this imaginative kind of side of me. The creative process is more to do with when you're engaging in the act of expressing your imagination, right? Your imagination needs an outlet. It has to go somewhere. It can't just stay in the ether. And maybe that's where it comes from, the ether. But no, I do believe it is connected to all of the other factors, right? Um, your uh, intelligence, your character, your personality, your conscience, your subconscious. What kind of conscience you have, what kind of subconscious you have, what kind of character you have, what kind of personality you have. Um, your cognitive function, the way in which you think and how you think and how you formulate your thought processes. And obviously, the more nuanced things are involved. Your feelings, your emotions, your feelings, your kind of your love for the craft, which is a form of inspiration, really. Although there is more to that. So all of those things are always present in in the mind of the of the of the artist, of the builder, the maker, the be it a poet, a musician, a craftsman, or more of the kind of the innovative and inventive type, who essentially relies more on their imaginative side, because otherwise, how would that come into the picture, right? How would that come to be? That's the mind, you know, at work. And the other part here about the other kinds of influences that one can have, in their mind, and they, like I said before, it comes from both. Similar to inspiration, it comes from both. They can come from external factors, and they can come from internal factors. The internal factors have more to do with your cognitive function, with your character, your personality, your the amount of connectivity you have to your biospirit, things which are innate, intuitive, and instinctual to you. Um, and and your imagination and your creativity are also intricately related to all of these factors. Um, and can also be your imagination and creativity can also be influenced and inspired through the works of somebody else's imagination, be it a great piece of music, be it a magnificent sculpture, be it a great piece of literature. Um, so there's this relationship between mind, inspiration, the hand, and the tools. But like I was saying, it can work both ways. It doesn't just work one way. Where I wouldn't want to present this in a way that would fall short in some way, and come off like being reductive in some way. Because I've heard some people kind of taking a try at explaining this, and they'll say, well, it all starts with you just got to get busy, you just got to do something, kind of thing. Well, and that just depends on the person. So they're not wrong about that. It's just that it can work both ways. It can work just by you engaging in something, just by you simply committing yourself to doing something, in the physical. And it can work the other way around too, where your mind is where it starts from. In fact, I would say that to take this to an even greater level, it all starts with the mind. Because even if you think like, oh, you know what, I just need to do something. I'll just start something here, and the rest will come to me. As soon as you start to do something, it is your mind. It is your mind where that very notion, the very notion of that came from. It is your mind that said, just do something. Just pick something up. Just make a sketch. Go do some geometry. Go do this. Go do that. Whatever it is that you do. It began from the mind. But like I said, in just a more simplified way of looking at it, it can work both ways. You can start to do something, and then something will come about from there. And or it started from your mind, where you had the idea, and then it was like, oh my God, this is a good idea. I'm going to go do this. And inspiration works the same way. It works from within, and you can be inspired through external influences. So I think I said what I wanted to say. This will be part 2, mind to hand to tool.